Hello and welcome to When Seconds Count, Earthquake Safety in Your Home, sponsored by Cadre. Cadre is the network of nonprofit organizations in Santa Clara County that prepare and respond to support the community during disasters. We want to thank the United Way Bay Area for funding this project and Clear Global for providing translations of the presentation materials. This presentation will include information to help you prepare for earthquakes, including emergency alerts, protecting yourself and your home during the earthquake, action steps to take after an earthquake, how to find resources and information, and new information about immigrant protections and support resources available after disasters. The picture on the left of your screen shows the Disaster Ready Guide. Translated versions are available on the Cadre website Earthquake page. If you can't download the information, let us know and we'll get you a copy. You'll also find a document called Earthquake Safety Resources that lists all the links and instructions we'll mention today so that you can reference them later. California averages 100 earthquakes every day. Most of them aren't strong enough for us to feel, but the ground is always moving. When we have a big one, 911 center telephones are overloaded and first responders are overwhelmed with calls for help. Police and fire departments prioritize their responses to calls based on where the biggest problems are and where the most people are in danger. If a school or a mall in your area needs help, you might have to wait a long time to receive service. But many emergencies that occur after an earthquake need to be addressed immediately. That's why we're glad you're taking this class so that we can help you know what to do to keep your home and family safe. Santa Clara County cities use several notification systems to give you essential information about all types of emergencies, including earthquakes. Alert SCC is a countywide notification system. Everyone should sign up to receive alerts from Alert SCC. You can choose to receive them on your smartphone by voice or text, on a landline phone, and by email. Go to www.alertscc.com to register. Some cities, police and fire departments use another notification system called Nixle. Nixle sends you an email and text message. You can sign up for Nixle by texting your zip code to 888-777. If you log into www.nixle.com, you can select the type of alerts you want to receive, like any police activity, missing persons, street closures, and local events. Alerts and warning messages are only sent out in English. If you can't read English, you'll need to have a plan to have the information interpreted for you until we have a better solution. There is a third system called WEA, or Wireless Emergency Alerts. This system does not require registration, but you must make sure that the emergency notification setting on your smartphone is turned on. Instructions are listed in the Earthquake Safety Resources document. Wouldn't it be nice to know that an earthquake was about to happen? Well, now you can. MyShake is a free phone app that alerts you a few seconds before the ground starts shaking for magnitude 4.5 or higher earthquakes. It doesn't sound like a lot of time, but it may be enough time to get off a ladder, step away from a window, or to take cover. The alert sounds like this.
Earthquake. Drop cover, hold on. Shaking expected.
The MyShake app is available for iPhone and Android phones. Imagine that you're at home on a Saturday morning and the MyShake alert goes off on your phone. What would you do? This video simulates a big earthquake. Look at what falls over during the shaking. That was a whole lot of shaking. Why did so many things fall over? Where are the safe places to protect yourself when the ground shakes? The best thing to do is to drop to the ground, crawl under a table or desk, cover your head, and hold on to the furniture until the shaking stops. If you're in a wheelchair, lock your wheels and cover your head. If you're in a bed, stay in the bed and cover your head with your pillow. If you're in a mobile home, the bracing underneath can break through the floor, so get on a couch, bed, or chair and cover your head. Standing in doorways is not recommended as a way to protect yourself. Once the shaking has stopped, what should you do next? Think about what your home might look like when the shaking stops. There may be broken glass and items that have fallen off shelves. Your fish may have sloshed onto the floor if you have an aquarium. Lighted candles may have tipped over, or maybe the TV has fallen. Think about the damage caused by the earthquake. Is there anything you could have done to avoid it? Before the ground shakes, do a safety check of your house. Stand in each room and imagine what could fall. Ask yourself, if that thing falls, will it hurt someone? Or is it expensive or hard to replace? If you answer yes to any question, figure out how to prevent it from falling. Could you remove heavy objects from high shelves or over beds that might fall and hurt someone? Install cabinet locks in the kitchen to keep dishes inside. Put earthquake straps on TVs and tall, heavy furniture. How about checking to ensure that cleaning supplies can't spill over, mix with other chemicals, and cause poisonous fumes? Make sure your water heater is strapped correctly. When water heaters fall over, they can start fires. Ensure metal straps are on the upper and lower third of the water heater tank and that they completely wrap around the tank before being strapped to the wall. Based on possible damage inside your home, let's walk through the immediate actions you'll need to take to keep everyone safe. First, help anyone who is injured. Take a basic first aid course now or download the Red Cross First Aid app to learn how to control bleeding, stabilize broken bones, and treat for shock. You can find first aid apps for pets too. Next, you'll need to check for natural gas leaks because natural gas can cause explosions and fires. Should you automatically turn off the gas after an earthquake? The answer is no. You should only turn off the natural gas if you suspect a leak. After the Loma Prieta earthquake in 1989, some people turned off the natural gas to all the homes in their neighborhood. Since no one knew if there were really leaks, they had to wait for the utility company to come out and check each house. Because the gas company was overwhelmed with service requests from the earthquake, it took 2 weeks to get the gas turned back on. That is a lot of cold showers. How do you know if gas is leaking? First, sniff around your appliances that use natural gas. Natural gas does not have an odor, so gas companies add a scent that smells like sulfur or rotten eggs so that you'll know there's a problem. If you smell natural gas around any appliance, the gas to the appliance should be turned off and inspected by the utility company. Open windows and allow the gas to clear away after you turn off the main valve to the appliance. If you can't turn off the gas to the appliance, or you smell gas in the house and can't find where it's coming from, you'll have to shut off the gas to the entire house. When you go outside to your gas meter, you should check 3 things. Check for the smell of natural gas. Listen for a hissing or whistling sound caused by gas escaping from a cracked pipe. It sounds like this. Look at your gas meter dial to see if it is spinning unusually fast. How do you know what normal spinning looks like? Go out and look at the dial when you're at home using your gas appliances. Observing any of these 3 warning signs means you should turn off the gas. You will need a 12 to 15-inch adjustable crescent wrench to shut off the natural gas at the meter. You don't need to buy an expensive wrench. You should be able to find one for less than $15 at discount hardware stores and yard sales. If you want to keep the wrench by the meter, put it in a Ziploc bag and spray on a bit of WD-40 or other lubricant to keep it from rusting. Locate the gas valve on the meter and turn it 1/4 turn in either direction so that it is crosswise or perpendicular to the pipe. You can see a picture of the valve in Photo 1 in the on position. Photo 2 shows the valve in the off position. Once you've turned off the gas, don't turn it back on. Call your utility company and ask them to come out and check for leaks. You can test the valve to make sure it will move when needed. Using the crescent wrench, turn the valve about 1/8 of a turn, just enough to make sure that it will move. Then put it back in the fully on position. If you can't move the valve, contact your utility company and have it adjusted. If you live in an apartment, your meter and other tenants' meters may be located together. Talk to your apartment manager about which meter belongs to your unit and what to do if you can't tell which meter is leaking. Finally, if you cannot turn off the gas or don't know where the smell is coming from, you will need to leave immediately due to the risk of an explosion. Leave on foot. Starting a car could cause an explosion. The recommended minimum evacuation distance for a household leak is 330 feet, a little more than the length of an American football field. Even then, if you can still smell gas, move farther away and call 911 to report it. Be sure to talk to your neighbors about natural gas safety so they know what to do in case you aren't home when the earthquake happens. There could be larger natural gas distribution lines in your neighborhood. If there is a larger gas leak like the one shown here, where gas is coming up from the street or on private property, you must evacuate immediately. The same rules apply. Any match, cigarette lighter, starting a car, flipping a light switch, or any potential heat source could cause an explosion. For this type of leak, you'll need to go much farther than the length of a football field. Fires can start after an earthquake. What could start a fire inside your house? You could be at risk if the stove was on, if appliances have moved, if candles have tipped over, or if electrical wiring is damaged or broken. If you discover a small fire, which is a fire about the size of a wastebasket, you can use a fire extinguisher to put it out. You should evacuate the building if the fire is larger and call 911. Here's how to use an extinguisher. You can get a fire extinguisher for your home from a home improvement store like Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, or a local fire extinguisher company. For home use, we recommend a 10 to 20 pound extinguisher with the letters ABC on it. This extinguisher can be used on Type A fires, wood, paper, and clothing, Type B fires, gas and oil, and Type C fires, electrical wiring and appliances. The main parts of an extinguisher are: 1. The pressure gauge. The pressure arrow should point to the green area of the dial if it is working properly. 2. The top and the bottom handles. Always hold the extinguisher by the bottom handle. 3. The ring pin, which keeps the extinguisher from accidentally going off. You must remove the pin to make the extinguisher spray. The picture on the slide shows someone grasping the ring. The ring is fastened with a plastic zip tie. Twist the ring like you are turning a key in a lock and the zip tie will break. Then pull the pin out of the handle. 4. The nozzle that you will unhook from its clamp and use to spray the dry chemical powder onto the fire. The nozzle directs where the powder will go. Hold the nozzle near the tip for the best control. Remember the acronym PASS to use a fire extinguisher. The P stands for pull the ring pin. The A for aim the nozzle at the base of the fire, not at the flames. The S for squeeze the handle, and then another S for sweep the nozzle back and forth from left to right to spray a layer of chemical powder on the item that is burning. In this video, you will see a 10-pound ABC fire extinguisher in use. Remember, if the fire is larger than a trash can, you may not have enough chemical powder in the extinguisher to make the fire go out. A 10-pound fire extinguisher only lasts 15 seconds. If the fire doesn't go out, get out of the house and dial 911.
Oh, these are good.
One more tip. If a pot on the stove catches fire, try sliding a lid onto the pot to smother the flame before using the extinguisher, which is obviously very messy. If that doesn't work, use the extinguisher. If you suspect damaged wires or you have extinguished an electrical fire, go to your electrical panel and turn off the electricity. It may be inside the house, in the garage, or on an outside wall. To avoid sparks and potential fires, you must turn off the electricity in a specific order. To turn off the electricity, first turn off all the individual switches and then turn off the main switch last. If you want to turn the electricity back on, you should contact the utility company. If an earthquake causes water pipes to break, the water can cause severe damage to your home. If you see flowing water or water seeping from the walls or sheetrock, you'll need to turn off the water at the shutoff valve where the water enters your building or the underground water meter. The bottom two pictures show an underground residential water meter. To remove the water meter cover, you can use a screwdriver placed into the hole at an angle and lift it up. The arrow in the second picture points to a control valve. Use the 12 to 15-inch crescent wrench to turn the valve until the two metal circles meet. You'll know the water is off when the dial stops spinning. It's important to check your home for structural damage as soon as possible. You might see broken windows and cracks in walls that will need repair, but certain types of damage can cause a physical structure to be unstable, with the potential to have the walls or the building collapse. Here are some of the things to look for. Diagonal cracks coming from doors and windows as shown in the picture on the left. You may see a change in the horizontal or vertical lines of the structure. You can see in the lower right picture that the garage wall is bowed out. When you try to open doors inside the house, they may be stuck because the house has shifted. You might also see damage to the foundation, cracks or shifting around the outside of the house, or large cracks in the dirt near the foundation. There will be aftershocks after every large earthquake. Each aftershock could make minor damage more serious. Check the house after each large aftershock. After you've taken care of immediate hazards to yourself and others, you can check on neighbors. Meet with your neighbors to find out if anyone needs help. Share your earthquake safety knowledge to keep them safe too. Your neighborhood will be an important network for information sharing, support, and resources. Knowing your neighbor is the first step to building a more resilient community. The best way to become prepared is to keep learning. There are additional personal emergency preparedness classes available. You can take a first aid class or CPR class. All cities in Santa Clara County offer courses for those who want to help their neighborhoods called Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT. CERT teaches first aid, signs of building damage, how to safely rescue people who are trapped, and how to organize a small group to take care of the neighborhood. The phone system will be overloaded when you're trying to call family and friends. Texting uses less bandwidth than phone calls and is more likely to get through. If you can't get through, you may be able to reach someone who lives outside the impacted area. Use that person as a message sender who can relay messages to family members. Also, talk with your family before an emergency about picking a meeting location in a neighborhood park or at a friend or neighbor's house in case you can't go home. If you must leave your home, leave your phone number with a neighbor and tell them where you are going. Sometimes people are afraid to stay indoors after an earthquake because of aftershocks or because they don't feel safe inside. If it is safe to do so, You may want to camp in your yard or in the neighborhood for a few days until things settle down. If you decide to camp in your yard for a few days, what are the top 5 supplies you might want to have? These are the common top 5 supplies, but your top 5 may be different. You may have thought of more than 5. Some people pack a small backpack and sleep on the ground when they go camping. When others go camping, they rent big motorhomes with satellite TVs. Your supplies can be as simple or elaborate as you want to make them if you keep them up to date. You can find most supplies at a dollar store for a simple supply kit. For the basics, you'll need a first aid kit with supplies that match your level of training. At least some bandages, a small towel, and medicine for headaches and nausea. You must have water to survive. How much water should you have? You'll need 3 gallons of water for every person and pet in the family. That's so you can each use 1 gallon per day for drinking and cooking. You'll get hungry, so store food that doesn't need to be replaced very often, like canned foods, dried foods, or granola bars. If you go to a shelter instead of camping, you may not like the food they serve, like pizza and hamburgers. Make sure you bring food that you like. If you can't get information on your phone, a battery-operated radio will help. Last of the top 5s is a flashlight with batteries, because it will get dark. Your phone might have a flashlight, but what happens when your phone battery goes dead? Can you think of other supplies that you may want or need? Think about cash if ATMs are not working, special diets and medications, a tarp to make a shelter, pet supplies, extra eyeglasses. When you get your new glasses, put the old ones in your kit. Tools, important documents. Put pictures of documents on your phone for quick reference, and a whistle to signal for help. After an earthquake, getting accurate information from trusted sources will help you plan your next steps. Do not trust information posted by individuals not directly managing the emergency, since their information may not be accurate. The Cadre website provides links to all government websites, police, fire, and social media, so you have them at your fingertips when needed. After earthquakes, many resources are mobilized to help the community, including emergency shelters and housing, support for mental health, financial aid, support cleaning up your property, rebuilding, advocacy working with insurance companies, advocacy for landlords and tenants, and specific support for immigrants. When any disaster occurs, information on current disaster relief programs will be listed on the Cadre website, www.cadresv.org, as soon as possible. If you know someone afraid to take assistance after disasters for fear of being deported, it's important to share this information with them. Everyone is eligible for non-cash emergency relief. Eligibility for help is based on disaster-related needs, not immigration status or income. Everyone has a right to emergency information and assistance in a language they can understand. Ask for a translator. Talk to a local nonprofit or check the Cadre website about what resources are currently available. Understanding the options will help you to make the best disaster recovery choices. It's important to know that California state law prevents disaster relief workers from asking for unnecessary documents or questions about an individual's immigration status. And accepting disaster assistance will not jeopardize immigration status or the ability to become a citizen. All immigrants should feel safe to ask for the help they need from the Red Cross or other responding nonprofit and faith-based organizations. By order of President Biden, protected areas have been designated where there should be no immigration enforcement. Some of these protected areas include schools, places of worship, food banks, medical facilities, evacuation routes, places where disaster relief is being provided, or emergency response shelters. More details on protected areas and the public charge safe to use list including benefits and services always safe for eligible immigrants, can be found on the Cadre website. Congratulations! When seconds count, you know what to do. For additional information about earthquake safety or to watch this presentation again, go to www.cadresv.org/earthquake. There are specific sections for each language we currently support. Here are QR codes for the Cadre website, MyShake for iPhone, and MyShake for Android. Scan them with your smartphone camera to go directly to the websites. And here are QR codes for the Ready Guide, Alert SCC, and Nixle.